Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Mapleless and this is Literally Graphic. And today we're talking goals. As some of you may have noticed by this point, I am a goals sort of person. I think this is due to my tendency to play down my own accomplishments. So while I, like everyone, tend not to reach many of my own goals, I do enough that I can generally muster up some more self-esteem as a result. This, of course, was mostly not true when it comes to my reading-related goals of 2019, or at least the ones I wrote down. I'm almost certain I made a video before my emotions-induced hiatus early last year, but I can't find it, which was so much fun, by the way. Okay, that said, I did read over 71 books in 2019, which is my goal every year on Goodreads, and I read 20 books without pictures. However, I only read 14 of the 30 books without pictures I was aiming to read by authors from all over the entire continent of Asia, which goes all the way to the Middle East, FYI. I succeeded at this in 2017 with Indigenous authors of Turtle Island, and in 2018 with Black authors, but as I've hashed through a couple of times, last year was not a good reading year for me, so I guess I'll just have to circle back to that after I finish this national cycle through geographic regions to read more diversely. This year, I've fleshed my goals out a bit better, I guess. As I said, I always use 71 books for my Goodreads goal. That's what Stephen King reads every year, apparently. But I don't think I'm going to continue with the goal of 50 of those books being books without pictures, which is what the 20 general and 30 specific I mentioned last year add up to. Considering how low my reading was last year, I just don't want to pressure myself like that. I will continue with my long-term strategy to read more diversely though, and aim to read at least 30 books by people from the so-called Caribbean, South, and Central Americas without pictures. Can't say that I've gotten off to a super smooth start. I'm jumping into a region that I've been sorely lacking and expecting to immediately be able to track down the most, for lack of a better term, intersectional work out there. I really just need to sit back, breathe, relax, and trust myself that I will get there eventually. Everything will feel much easier in retrospect. That said, if you have any recommendations for Black and or Indigenous and or queer and or disabled authors from that part of the world, I would more than appreciate it, especially if it's genre fiction. My final reading goal is to read my own damn books, which is probably futile, but a person can hope. Moving on to channel goals, let's talk about something that I've already done. Namely, updating my land acknowledgement. As a few select elite members of you know, if my analytics are telling the truth, I end each of my videos with a land acknowledgement, where I try to speak some truth into the expanse of the interwebs about the people who lived on this land before my settler ancestors moved in. And while this is certainly not the be-all end-all of my existence here, framing my life on Turtle Island in these terms appears to have helped me unsettle whiteness in myself and other white people more effectively. This year I was able to expand the acknowledgement to include more aggressive language about the relationship between colonizers and Indigenous people. I'm not sure yet what further changes will be needed, but I hope to learn more and be better. That said, of the few select people who actually do watch an entire video, many of them are probably confused by this, as it still isn't widely popular. So I should probably also make a goal of posting everything on my blog about what exactly I am saying and why, or at least link to native-land.ca, which is a good starting point for people in the Americas and Australia, New Zealand, to start thinking about who is indigenous to the land you live on, if you haven't already. I also want to keep making 2 to 3 videos a week. I really felt like I hit a stride last year, and I still have way too many books to talk about. I also want to reply to comments, but we shall see if I can get past my rejection-sensitive dysphoria. A fun word that I learned just last year that has apparently been controlling my entire life, like some sort of Illuminati. What are your goals for this year? As always, I hope they involve reading and resisting white supremacy. And as always, Literally Graphic is recorded on the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation and Anishinaabe people, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Huron-Wendat Nation. I live here because of British colonization, Indigenous genocide, and more geographically specific, Treaty 13, also known as the Toronto Purchase, which was finalized in 1805 between representatives of the Crown and certain Mississauga peoples. This treaty was a lie and has since been broken many times over. Saying so reflects only my own small steps towards knowing the truth and does nothing for reconciliation.